Welcome to Waking Up with Don. Today we have a very special guest. We're spending a full half hour with Bay County School Superintendent Bill Husfeldt. And Bill is going to explain to us, I call him Bill because we go way back, he's going to explain to us school choice and where that fine line is between being an involved parent or a helicopter parent. Are you one of those helicopter parents? Should your kid get a trophy? Should everybody get a trophy? These are some of the probing questions I'm going to pose to Superintendent Bill Husfeldt. And also, we're going to get a little bit about the weather. And the West Pittman firm is going to bring you the weather, and you'll know how to dress that kid up before you send him off to school today. You're watching Waking Up with Don. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm here with Bay School Superintendent Bill Husfeldt. Welcome to the show, Bill.
Thank you, Don.
And thank you so much for coming on.
Anytime.
You know, it's that time of year now when you can actually go out and pick a school for your high schooler now.
School choice.
Yeah. Tell us about school choice. How did that come about?
The legislators years ago recommended that all districts have some kind of school choice or some format of school choice.
And just so we understand, what that means is you don't have to go to your zone school if you don't want to.
No, you have some options. Now, depending on capacities, and unfortunately in Bay County, there's only a couple schools where school choice isn't as wide open as we'd like it, but for the most part, parents get to choose which schools they want their children to go through. And the advantage of that, Don, what's happened over the years is the advantages for parents. When we were growing up, you went to your neighborhood school because you walked to school a lot of times, or you rode your bike, or it was not that far and you wanted to be in your neighborhood school. But now parents want to be closer to their children from where they work. It used to be the working thing was not as big a deal. Now what we found out is parents want the location of their children's school to be closer to their work than their home. And so our school choice allows parents to choose that, and that's the biggest reason parents choose schools away from. It's
just the logistics of the household.
Right.
Kind of demands that you want your child closer to you, just in case.
And that's it, just in case. They want to be able to get to their children quickly, and a lot of times they'll have family members that live in another area that are going to be providing care for the children after school, so they want them in that school next to where their family live.
Right.
And so there's a lot of reasons, but that's why school choice works so well.
And you know, if you're, say, single parent household, working mom, you want to be able to drop your kid off on the way to work. I mean, that just makes sense.
Right. And we have a lot of single parent men and women, single parents that, you know, the biggest concern for them is, what am I going to be able to do with my child after school? And so that is another main reason why they choose the school they choose. We have great schools at Bay County, we really do, and I'm not just saying that because I'm the head cheerleader.
Right.
I mean, we really do have great schools and great options, and so our parents are able to look at all the schools and decide which ones they want to go to. Elementary is different than middle school is different than high school for different reasons.
You mean the choice process?
Right. Location is more the elementary reason. Middle school is because middle school age kids go through a lot of changes. And a lot of times parents don't want their kids going through that change, but they're going to go through it anyway.
Oh boy, yeah.
And then high school, as we were talking about earlier, it depends on the child and what goals they have.
Well,
I mean, it's like recruiting for football in college.
We experienced that whole choice thing personally with our high schooler. Well, now he's in college, but trying to figure out what would be the best fit for him in high school academically.
And Don, there's not a bad choice because they all have wonderful programs that are all very successful. Every school in this district has students that go to Ivy League schools, the military academies, any college, university that you can imagine. And so what we always tell the students is the school's not going to make the students make the school successful. And that's so true in our high schools. And all the programs are really phenomenal.
You're turning out a good product because I know when my son was looking at high school several years ago, we were zoned for Mosley. And we went, and you were the principal back then, as I recall, and you gave your whole presentation, and we're like, okay, seems like a pretty cool school. But we were shopping for honors programs, and we looked at maps, and then we looked at IB at Rutherford, and we felt that ACE would have been the best fit for our son, so we wound up going to Bay. And people are like, why are you putting your kid in Bay? And I'm like, ACE program.
And
he
you
thrived
hit
there.
it. You hit it on the head. You're looking for what fits your child, what best fits your child, and each child's different, and their desires are different, their goals are different, their study habits are different. So there are neat programs out there that you just have to shop around. It's like picking a college.
It is. It's more like buying a car or a house for
Kick
us.
those tires and slam those doors.
Yeah, we
right?
did. We did all that stuff. We've got to run off to a break right now. But I want to talk a little more about that process and the choices that people are making, what the schools have to offer, and maybe some of the time frame. Okay. We're going to come back after these commercial breaks and a word from Zenobia.
Hi and good morning. Welcome back to Waking Up with Don. I'm Zenobia Andrews, your business system strategist, and I'm super excited to share with you your business tip for today. You know, all week we've been talking about how to become an entrepreneur, how to start your business. Today's max tip is the value of a good business plan. The value of a good business plan. You know, in this business plan, you're going to need a great SWOT analysis. You say, well, what in the world is that? It's your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats within your business. This business plan is your roadmap to success. It's your roadmap. It's that thing that you're going to continue to look at. You're going to establish your goals. You're going to establish your task list. All this is within your business plan. And so many people ask me, Zenobia, you know, how do you stay balanced? Like, how do you get up and you get all this stuff done? I'm here to share with you, I do not stay balanced. I prioritize my life. I prioritize my businesses. I prioritize my family. And that is what I would recommend for you. There's no such thing as balance, you know? You get up every day and you prioritize everything that you have to do in order to have success in life, okay? This has been an exciting week. I'm super excited that you've joined in here with us every morning with Waking Up with Don. I'm Zenobia Andrews, your business system strategist. I would love to support you. Connect with me on social media at www.zenoviaandrews.com. Also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You follow me, I'll follow you back. Take care, and we look forward to talking with you again.
Welcome back. I'm speaking with Bay County School Superintendent Bill Husfeldt, and we're talking about school choice. Mr. Husfeldt, how does a parent go about choosing a school, and when does that option become available?
I know this is going to be a shock, but everything's done online.
That is a shock.
It's all done online. It starts February 3rd and goes through the first week in March, and everything is done online. The whole process is automated, and it's easy. It's self-explanatory. Once you start the process, go to our website, which is bay.k12.fl.us. But just Google Bay District Schools,
Bay District
Florida,
Schools, you'll come up with it.
And you'll find
Look
it.
for the school choice option,
Right.
I suppose, and start noodling through that.
Right, and we have people at the district that will help. There's phone numbers listed there if you have questions. But
you don't choose your school through a website. I mean, like we did, we wanted to go visit with you and go visit the schools, and we'll get
you
those
can
options
contact
there.
the schools. But like I said, Don, you would be surprised that parents, it has nothing to do with an individual school for elementary. It's location. 99% it's location. And it comes down to childcare, it comes down to work location, it comes down to sibling already goes there. So very few parents want more information about the school. They've already got basically their mind made up. Principals, though, do at the elementary school do meet with parents when they call and want to set up a meeting and talk with them, especially people that move into town. That's the ones that are more likely to want to meet with the principal and talk about the school. Now, as you get to middle school and high school, that's where you're going to call the school and want to sit down more likely and have a meeting. It's just, I just know that's the way it's done because of the main number one concern of elementary parents is the location of the school. Right. That's the main number one concern.
And what about military parents? I guess you would see a pretty good turnover in the student population given all the bases that we have here. Are they picky about their schools?
Yes, and military parents are very savvy because they've been through this before. They know what to look for, and they talk to other military families. So most of them, before they even get here, have already decided which schools they want their children to go into, and they've talked to other military families, as I said. And the unique thing about the military families is, and when I talk to them, and I talk to military families probably more than the regular parents because they're looking for information. The military families are just overwhelmed by, you mean I have a choice? Because, and you've been stationed all around the world, but that's not a common thing. Usually, and what we hear from military parents, well, I never had a choice before.
Whatever you're zoned for is,
yeah, that's where you go. And so they like this. I mean, it's so neat to hear the compliments that our military families give our schools and praise our teachers in our schools, because they really enjoy it here when they're here.
Well, the thing with school is, and this is what you get out of it, what you put into it. If you just drop your kid off at the curb and say, that's what you're going to get in return, I would think.
And you're right, but Don, see, that's a level thing too, because the level of involvement of an elementary parent is very high.
Right.
Middle school, it drops dramatically. By the time they're in high school, they barely darken the doors.
Unless you're in my household.
But there's a combination of reasons for that.
Yeah.
Because as the child is young, they want the parents there involved. And as the middle school, the teenage years,
yeah, that's true. You become very uncool to your teenager.
Exactly, and don't you show up at that school. I don't want to. It's sort of like the commercials where you see the kid dropping, the parent dropping the kid off in the fancy car and whatever, and it's kids are finicky and picky about the parent involvement. And not all kids are the same, but for the most part, they don't want to see their parents, and they don't want to be seen with their parents at school.
Yeah, I remember those high school years.
Yes.
But it's incumbent upon parents to
embarrass them anyway.
That's your job.
Yeah, that's your job.
My parents did it to me, I'm doing it to you.
One of the things we do when we go to our honors programs, and we go to all the schools and do that and congratulate them and give them their plaques and their joining clubs and things. We always encourage parents, come on down, take pictures, because the high school, no, don't do that. Yeah, come on down and embarrass them. It might be one of your last few chances to do that. But parents need to be involved. You know, Don, seriously, one of the most studied components of students being successful in school that we can prove is parental involvement. Your child's going to be more successful if you're more involved in the school where they go, and it's across levels. And so the more you involve, the more you know what's going on in your child's school, whether it's elementary, middle school, or high school, the more successful that child's going to be, because you make education
and knowing what's available, being able to check your child's grades online.
Parent portal.
Going to the parent portal and saying, okay, we got to bring this one up.
And monitor that. And we have about 80% of our parents have signed up for that. And how much they watch it, I don't know. But it is neat listening to parents talk about that. I have parents stop me and say, oh, my son or daughter didn't get to do this weekend because I checked parent portal and this is what I found out. And so those are updated. Attendance is updated regularly. Discipline is updated. But, very few of the kids overall have discipline issues. I mean, we focused 90% of the time on 10% of the students in discipline. So it's a very small percentage of kids in discipline, but parents need to watch that, those grades and look at that and monitor that. Yeah, because
they do have a tendency to dip when you're not looking.
Yes, they do.
So you've got to hold these kids. It's all about accountability when it comes to your child. We've got to run off to another break, but on the other side, let's talk more about that parent involvement thing and where's that fine line between being involved and being over-involved and being a pain-in-the-neck parent to teachers and your kids. You're watching Waking Up with Don. I'm here with School Superintendent Bill Husfeld. Welcome back. I'm speaking with School Superintendent Bill Husfeld. We had a great chat during the break here. That's when the best interviews happen, about helicopter parents and self-esteem of kids and how everybody gets a trophy nowadays. Are we wrong in sheltering our kids this much?
And I think so to an extent. And there's nothing wrong with parents being involved, but it depends on why you're involved. If you're involved because your child's experienced disappointment or has got a B and not an A, or if you're involved because your child did not become the MVP or your child is not the head cheerleader, then that's where you need to step back, because that's where you grow in life. You experience failure and you learn how to deal with it. I was reading a study recently that said that's one of the reasons why we have so many older kids staying at home, 26, 27-year-old kids staying at home, because they've never experienced failure and they don't know how to deal with it. And so I think sometimes parents are too overprotective and are afraid that their child's going to get upset. Getting upset's not a bad thing. It prepares you. It insulates you.
Well, it's a tough world out there. It's a tough life.
It is.
You're not going to get every job you applied for.
And you're going to lose some jobs that you get.
That's right.
You are not always going to be able to have the job, your dream job. And sometimes you're going to work for a boss that's mean. Sometimes you're going to have coworkers that you don't like. I mean, that's the world.
That's part of life. Now, you ran for student body president when you were in high school, didn't you?
Student body vice president.
Vice president, rather.
And came in third. And I survived. That, it was a tearful moment, I'm sure. I remember way back. But the person that then eventually won, she's a doctor now. So I got beat by somebody.
All right. So she was a worthy opponent.
She was a worthy opponent. Yeah. But
you didn't do too bad either. So.
No, I didn't do too bad. And I tried out for Little League and didn't make it. I didn't make the first team I tried out for. And so experiencing failure, I think, is part of growing up and maturing and preparing for real life, because you're not always going to win in real life.
Yeah.
You said the trophy thing. I mean, I think that's one of the things I cringe at as a coach from way back, is giving everybody a trophy, because does everybody really deserve a trophy? You're just trying to make everybody feel good.
Well, you don't want to hurt little Johnny's self-esteem. Well,
but Johnny's self-esteem needs to grow, and he needs to understand, and Sally too needs to understand that you're not always going to get everything you want.
Yeah, it is a cruel world out there. And, I think victory and the trophy and the recognition is probably much sweeter after you've experienced a few failures. Isn't that true?
It makes you work hard. I mean, you look at, and I'm a Seminole, most people know that, but you look at some of those individual stories about what some of those athletes in any sport have had to overcome individually, and it helps you to understand why they work so hard to achieve, because they've had to overcome a lot, and it makes you a stronger person, I believe, when you have things to overcome.
You hear these personal stories, and my son, who went to Bay High, we're very proud of him. He's at the Naval Academy now. But, he didn't get everything he wanted along the way either. I mean, there were some disappointments for this kid.
But look at what he's accomplished, and he didn't give up, and that made him stronger. That put a callus on him to know that I'm going to keep forging forward. And I think that's what our kids miss, is the drive to keep going even if it doesn't turn out the way they want to, instead of just giving up and turn around, getting on Facebook and telling the world how terrible it is.
That whole Facebook thing is another
I don't have a Facebook page.
Oh, you don't? A lot of people don't. Yeah.
I don't have a Facebook page. Because I don't want to, you're going to laugh, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings and not be their friend. If I got on Facebook, the only reason I would want to get on Facebook was to see my grandchildren. I have 5 grandchildren. That would be the only reason I'd want to get on there, is to see their pictures and what they're doing and things. But other than that, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings by not friending them or whatever you do on there.
My dad, who is quite elderly now, he's 88 years old, has a Facebook page, but he's what we would call a stalker. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't. He'll give you an occasional thumbs up that he likes something, but he does it just to see pictures of the grandkids and things like that. So. The old man's a stalker. Maybe you want to be a stalker on Facebook.
I've got enough labels. I don't need another one.
That's all we need.
I do not need that. But
so what advice could you offer parents, coming up with, we're in a season of school choice now. You want your kid to do well. You want to be attentive to your child's needs, but there's that fine line of being that helicopter parent or letting your kid experience a little failure along the way. But
be involved. Be involved. Get on the school advisory council. Go to the night meetings they have. Volunteer. There's nothing wrong with that. I think the thing is that I think the biggest misconception that some parents have is, my child would never do anything wrong. And trust me, kids are going to do things that are wrong, and they're going to learn from that. And let them experience getting a C. Getting a C is not the end of the world. I had 3 daughters growing up, and 2 of them got A's and B's, and 1 of them got all A's, and I kept thinking, please get a C, please get a C, please get a C, because I wanted her to get prepared for that. And so, experiencing bad things, I'm not talking about horrific tragedies, but experiencing bad things at school, not making the team, not being selected as a homecoming candidate.
Not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. It's life. I mean, everybody can't be a homecoming candidate. Everybody can't be the vice president of the senior class.
And you're going to have an off day.
And you're going to have problems in real life.
Yeah.
And one of the things I think that we do a disjustice to our students is by letting them only be successful doesn't prepare them for marriage even. I mean, we could get in a whole new topic about that.
You certainly have your ups and downs. If you've been married for any appreciable period.
Well, things don't go well, I leave. That's not teaching them.
Me and my bride have been at this for almost 30 years now.
So 32 for me.
All right, so
I just say yes, dear, and everything just seems to work out right.
It keeps it light.
Yes.
It makes it easier that way. But life is like marriage, like academics, like your school experience is full of ups and downs.
Exactly.
Bill Husfeldt, thank you so much
Good
for
to
coming
see
on
you,
the
Don.
show.
I appreciate you having me.
Thanks for all the good work you do for our kids.
Thank you.
You've been watching Waking Up with Don. We'll see you next time.